Hello dear friends and aspirants, welcome back to High Point once again, and in this video we'll be looking at the post-structuralist deconstructive literary criticism. I know this is somewhat tough for you. Many of the students that I used to hear that deconstruction is difficult for they feel difficulty in understanding certain concepts related to deconstruction. Now in this video we will see major concepts and major authors and text and keywords related to deconstruction as well. So stay tuned to this video fully. Maybe this video is little bit long, but stay tuned to it and take down necessary notes, okay? Before that, if you have not yet subscribed to my channel, subscribe to it and follow me on Instagram. At the same time, if you want to have more online study materials detailedly presented and well arranged, at the same time affordable study materials, you can visit my website www.highpoint.in and have the free trial and see what we are providing there. If you're interested, you can have all of that materials in the form of audio lectures and downloadable PDF materials and previous and practice lively attemptable question papers along with the free bonuses of weekly test and free weekly test and personalized study guideline. You can subscribe to the course from the website itself, and if you want to know anything further, you can use this number, WhatsApp number, or use the Instagram ID right here, okay? So moving on about deconstruction. So in order to understand deconstruction, first of all you have to know about Saussure's idea of science, at least some concepts related to structuralism. We have already finished structuralism just before. You can have all those videos in the I button. I have given the link to the playlist of literary theory and criticism in the I button. You can have it if you have missed anything. So do watch the structuralist theory first of all, then come and watch deconstruction. Otherwise you will feel a bit difficult to follow the ideas that we are sharing here. Let's have an introduction about deconstruction. Deconstruction is a post-structuralist theory based largely on the writings of the Paris-based Jacques Derrida. So mainly the concepts related to deconstruction mainly formulated by Paris-based French literary critic known as Jacques Derrida, who is a deconstructionist. So what is post-structuralist theory? Deconstruction is a post-structuralist theory. Post-structuralism actually, whether it is following or rejecting structuralist theories, that's a question. So if you know, structuralism mainly says that, inside a work, as far as literary theory concerned, inside a work there will be an underlying pattern, and if you understand that underlying pattern, the system of sign revealed to you, then you can understand the various layers of meaning that it has. And as a whole, the work as a whole, it has a pattern. Identifying the pattern is relevant for extracting meaning from that text. So for that theory, they are using Saussure's theory related to sign, which contains two elements, signifier and signified. So do watch the previous video if you don't know, okay? I'm not going to detail about these things, okay? So Jacques Derrida somewhat goes against the structuralist theory. Structuralist theory. So post-structuralism is not a continuation of structuralism, rather somewhat it goes against structuralism to some extent, okay? It focuses upon a close and critical reading of a written text to uncover the ways of thinking that constrains our impressions of the world. So deconstruction mainly focuses upon the close and critical reading of a written text to uncover the ways of thinking that constrains our impressions of the world. See, there will be a prevalent structure that is there in every other work, whether it is a poem, whether it is a novel. I'm not talking about the external structure of a poem or a novel or a play, okay? The way in which the sentences are arranged, I'm not talking about that, but there will be inherent structures. Multiple structures will be there. So deconstruction mainly focusing upon the close and critical reading of a written text. And it has really uncovered the ways in which you can possibly perceive and read and understand and generate meaning out of that text. Okay? So that's what deconstruction is all about. There will be many ways that you can understand meaning according to your perception. So I take the example of the word apple. I'm telling the word apple. You know the fruit. Maybe not everyone is thinking about a fruit. Many people they are thinking about, whenever they hear apple, they will be thinking about the Apple iPhone. And whenever I say Amazon, most of you are not thinking about Amazon forest. You will be thinking about Amazon online, shopping app. You will be thinking about that. So it's like, I get a meaning according to the meaning that I have inside me. Okay, so it's not that everybody is getting the same image and same meaning whenever they hear something, whenever they are reading something. Okay, according to their perceptions and their realities, then their the meaning that is popping up inside their works, the meaning is different. Okay, so the meaning is not singular, it is different and it is multiple. It has multiple dimensions. Deconstruction as metaphysical constructs and hierarchical oppositions are always rendered unstable by their dependence on ultimately arbitrary signifiers. So basically what is deconstruction says that it is, the signifiers are arbitrary. A signifier will lead to another signifier, and that signifier will lead to another signifier. So it's actually impossible to reach at the ultimate signified. That is not possible. See, take the example of any other word. Take the example of animal. The word animal, you will get, you go and check in the dictionary. There you will find a pool of other words to describing the word animal, right? In order to you to know the meaning of animal, you need to know the meaning of those words through which animal the word is described. So what is actually happening? Animal, the word leads to a pool of other signifiers. And again, if you look at some meanings inside that explanation given for the animal, then again that will lead to a pool of signifiers again. So it's nearly impossible to reach ultimate signifiers, and signifiers are ultimately arbitrary in nature. They don't have any one-to-one connection. Deconstruction viewed all writing as a complex historical cultural process rooted in the relations of text to each other and in the institutions and conventions of writing. So deconstruction viewing every other writing as a complex historical cultural process. So there is a historical cultural process rooted in the writing of every other work, and in relation of text each other and in the institutions and conventions of writing. So every other text produced, they are related to each other and related to the institutions, social conventions, culture and conventions of writing. According to Gail Sengage, deconstruction embraced the percept that meaning is always uncertain. So when you cannot arrive at an ultimate signifier, then how can you define something? How can you arrive at an ultimate meaning? So meaning is always postponed, deferred, that we will learn later, and it is always uncertain. The meaning is always uncertain, and this is not the task of the literary critic to illuminate meaning in a given text. So the meaning what is there in a text, it is not the duty of a literary critic to illuminate the meaning of a given text. See, usually what happens, a famous literary critic will say something about the work. See, the novel is about so and so things, it is symbolically represent this thing. So a famous literary critic will come and illuminate this meaning, glaze this meaning of a given text, that will pass on to every other reader of that text. Every other reader have this notion already inside that person's mind while reading that text, and again the same meaning will be arrived by the reader. That is not the duty of the literary critic. Literary critic has to criticize and understand the text by perceiving the underlying patterns, nothing more. There is no need that he or she comes up any kind of meanings, any definite meaning for that text. Okay, Derrida began with the socius ideas of the signified and signifier. The idea is the signified. The meaning that we are generating is the signified, and the represented by a sign is signifier. Okay, so there will be a word or meaning, there will be a word or a object or a sign, that is a signifier, and the idea associated to that sign is signified. Okay, the meaning when we see that sign generated inside our mind is the signified. But the sign can never be the same as the idea. Okay, so the idea and the sign, these things are two entirely different. That is what known as arbitrariness. And Derrida is also agreeing with that. The French term differer used in deconstruction refer both to the difference between signifier and signified and to the way the signified differs meaning to the signifier. So what is very simple. Actually Derrida is a French critic. So he used this term differer or differer. Okay, differ, this term used in reference to two things. The difference between the signifier and signified, they don't have any connection. Derrida argues that there is no meaning outside the text. So this is a famous line that Derrida says, there is no meaning outside the text. Everything is a text. We read everything. Whatever we read involves a language. No, not the same, not the only the language that we can see, the print language that we can see inside a book, but we are perceiving the place that you are sitting, the things that you are holding. See the laptop that I am seeing and the room in which I am sitting, everything is a text. So there is no meaning outside the system of science. There is no meaning outside the text. Inside a literary text itself, there are a lot of meaning. You can arrive at immense amount of infinite amount of meanings using that pattern of signifier and signified inside that system of science. All that we know is constructed of science in relation to one another. So whatever we know, we have not earned this meaning or earned this knowledge about things in isolation. We learn something in relation with a certain science that we already know. So every other sign exists in a relation to some other sign. So we all know certain things, and whatever we know is constructed of signs in relation to one another. So we can't know anything that is beyond that, this sign system. Okay, everything that we have, take anything that you have, any possible thing that you can think about, any possible thing that you can do, any possible thing that you can articulate. So everything that you have with you, it's a construct of signs, and signs are existing in relation to one another. Deconstructionist literary critic believe that language is inadequate to express the true meaning of the literary work. You see, we feel that whatever we are saying, this is it. But language is inadequate. It is not sufficient to express the true meaning of every other literary text. I have a wound. For example, suppose I have a wound. I have pain. The pain that is experienced by me, I can articulate this pain to others by using certain words. But the other person cannot understand what the pain that I am experiencing. But the other person can assume and interpret what I am saying through what he or she is hearing out of me. Okay? Or out of seeing me suffering in that pain. It's not that they are completely understanding. So the language that we are using in order to create a literary work, the language we are using in order to express certain things. Even now when I am saying, you say this is it, I cannot say it fully because language is inadequate to express certain things. Okay? So something that is beyond the language system. Language is incapable to express those things as well. So they believe that, deconstructionist literary critic believe that the author cannot fully control the meaning of the text. Once the author is created the text, then he has no control over the meaning produced by the text inside the mindset of the reader. They attempt to show how interpretations that are regarded as truths are conditional and inconsistent. So the interpretations that we can arrive, they are conditional. In a certain situation, you can arrive at a certain interpretation. Some other situation, the interpretation will vary. And it is also inconsistent. See, in structuralism we have learned the system is binary. Oppositions are there inside a system, bipolar in nature, and there will be a center. Deconstructionist doesn't recognize a center. If you don't have a center, then you have nowhere to seek meaning from. So I have given a classical example while we were discussing about structuralism. Go and see that video. Okay, I'm not going to rearticulate that example in here. Okay, so if there is no center to refer for a meaning, then there will be a play of signs. Play means there will be immense meanings emerge, signs will emerge. So for a point of time you will see this sign, at the same time you will see that too. Okay, so I'll give you a brief example. See, if you are a Christian, then every other meaning that you have in your life, you will seek to Christianity. According to that, you will do. If you are loving someone and you want to get married, you will seek the ways of marrying that person. But simply you can go and marry that person, okay? That is there, but still your meaning related to marriage is associated to Christianity. Femininity, Christianity has a notion of femininity. Masculinity is also there, about divinity. So every other meaning that you have in your life, whenever you are doing something, you refer to that sender. Then when you have a sender, what will happen? You will negate all the existence of all other signs. For marrying, there are other options. For living a life, there are other options. For femininity, there are other kind of views. But you are negating everything. You don't simply see all these options available there, but because you have a center of Christianity which controls your activities, your perceptions about life. Deconstructionists, what they are doing, they are removing the center, and there, when there is no center at all, you have every other possibilities. Many possibilities will emerge, and that will lead to play of the signs. Okay. The deconstructionist critic does not view literary work as art. For them, language is inadequate to extend the true meaning of what is being represented by the work. So we can only interpret a work. We just cannot understand a work. That's how every time you read a work, you are reading a new work. You are reading a new book. Okay. So language has an incapability to impart true meaning, true definitions, or true expressions in order to represent a work. That is impossible. You can only interpret a work. You cannot understand a work. Same with anything. You can only understand you can only interpret that what the other person is saying. You just cannot understand it fully. Now let's see some key concepts related to deconstructionist criticism. I have given the important ones only. Once we discuss about Jacques Derrida, we will see more. Okay. First one is aporia. Aporia is a Greek term denoting a logical contradiction. It's a term actually used by Derrida to refer to what he often calls the blind spots of any metaphysical argument. So there is a blind spot where contradictions will be there. Logical contradictions will be there. So in order to refer to that kind of points in a literary text, that is referred as aporia. It is a logical contradiction beyond a rational resolution or a point of undecidability. You just cannot decide whether this is or that. So that logical contradiction which is beyond rational resolution, that is aporia. The second term is difference, again a term coined by Derrida. It combines two French words, differ and defer. He actually challenges logocentrism by combining these two things and coining this term difference, because the word, the difference, the word and difference is only quite visible when it is written. When we say difference, much difference we won't feel, but when it is written, there is a difference, stark difference, right? So difference combines two French verbs, to differ and to defer. It suggests that language denies us the full presence of meaning. Differ means every other word is differ from some other word. That's why the word got a chance to appear. That term got a position inside a linguistic system. Okay, so you cannot find two words with exact meaning. There will be similarity in meaning, there will be connections and relations in meaning, but there will be always differences in meaning. And meaning will always differ. Ultimate signifier is not a actual thing that you can attain. So it's very difficult to come and arrive at ultimate signified. It is not possible, nearly impossible, that we cannot define and say. It is nearly impossible to derive at ultimate signified. A signifier will always lead to signifier. So the meaning is deferred, postponed. So differ and defer combines together in difference. Now let's see key thinkers: Jacques Derrida, Michel Foucault, Roland Barthes, Jean Baudrillard, Helen Sextius, Paul D. Mann, J.H. Miller, Jacques Lacan, Barbara Johnson. Jacques Lacan is important in psychoanalysis. Michel Foucault is often regarded as a post-modern thinker as well. Roland Barthes, he was initially a structuralist. Later, he composed Death of the Author and became a post-structuralist, deconstructionist theoretician. Jean Baudrillard, we have already learned him in cultural studies about his hyper-reality. Then Helen Sextius, we already seen her in feminism in relation with his Écriture féminine. Then Paul D. Mann, he was a disciple of Derrida and J.H. Miller, then Jacques Lacan, Barbara Johnson. So these are the key thinkers associated to deconstruction. Deconstruction is not itself a theory. We cannot define it like that. Deconstruction is a particular thing that it's about the way in which we are interpreting things. See, Jacques Derrida, he came up with the idea, it's time that we look our interpretation, then the way, how we are interpreting our interpretations. So we need to interpret our interpretations. When you have a particular way of thinking, when you have a particular center of reference, then you will perceive the text, perceive everything around you in a certain way. So that's the way that you are looking at certain things. So the way you are reading things, I'm not saying only about the reading of the text, the reading that you are doing whenever you see things, how you are perceiving it, that's what matter. So what kind of lens are you wearing to view this world, the text? That is important. If you have a center, then you are denying all the possibilities of possible signs that and meanings that are there present. You cannot see, because you are guided by a center about what you should perceive, what you should push into the margins, and what you should follow. So remove that center, then you will see immense possibilities available. So it's basically telling that if you are looking at a certain thing from the point of view of feminism, then you are seeing only feminist ideas. If you are looking at certain ideas in a Marxist point of view, then you are seeing only that. Then you are doing a mistake of denying and not recognizing any other ideas. So there are immense number of meanings, immense number of ways in which you can read a text or read anything around you. So make use of that. See, deconstruction, it's a wonderful idea, but still it has a negative impact. Like, you just cannot define anything. You just cannot arrive at an ultimate or strong decision, or you just cannot arrive at a particular meaning to something. You just cannot state anything, or that will ultimately drain the things that you enjoyed earlier, the beauty that you enjoyed earlier. See, you must have read something and you enjoyed it, but when you deconstruct and unravel the patterns inside the text, then maybe you just cannot enjoy the text anymore the way that you used to do before. So that's the problem with problem with the deconstruction. Now let's see key text related to deconstruction. There are many important ones, okay, but I just mentioned 4 important of them. Roland Barthes, S. Slat said, published in the year 1970. Jean Baudelaire's The Mirror of Production in 1973. And this is very pivotal. Derrida's Of Grammatology and Writing and Difference in 1976. Paul D. Mann's Allegories of Reading, Figural Language in Rousseau, Nietzsche, Rilke and Proust, and Blindness and Insight, published in 1979. Pause the video, or you can read the titles and the authors 2-3 times to remember it better way. Okay, that's all about deconstruction in brief. There are a lot of things that we can see about it, and if you want detailed classes related to structuralism, deconstruction, or any other theory or authors or concepts related to literary theory, you can visit my website www.highpoint.in, and if you want to have the materials, you can join our course as a student. And if you want to know anything related to the course, the materials, or the things that I have just imparted with you in this video, you can use this WhatsApp number or Instagram ID to reach out to me, okay? And let me know if you have any queries, questions and suggestions about this video in the comment section, and also follow me on Instagram. Subscribe to my channel. If you like this video, press the like button as well. So that's all about it. Meet you in the next video session. Until then, stay tuned to High Point and be happy wherever you are, guys. Thank you for watching. Bye bye. Thank you.